is a gorgeous summer Sunday in Cincinnati. We welcome you to Great American Ballpark. It's a series finale and the decisive game of this three-game series between division rivals, the Cardinals and the Reds. After losing the opener here on Friday night, the Reds last night, yesterday afternoon, put the whole package together. Pitching from Mike Leake. Outstanding defense from Cozart, Bruce and company. And Jay flexing his muscles at the plate as the Reds storm to an 8-2 win. And today they look to try and win this series against their rivals, the Cardinals. And hi again, everybody. Alongside Chris Welsh, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds Baseball right here on Fox Sports Ohio. All right, here we have it today, coming off that big win yesterday. And Brandon Phillips, all of a sudden, starting to swing the bat a little bit better. He was a big difference in the game yesterday.
Well, he's a lot of times a big difference when this Reds team plays against the Cardinals, because as he goes, oftentimes the Reds go. And when he starts pulling the ball, that means he's hitting home runs. He usually hits his base hits and his extra base hits to right field. But I'll tell you what, against the Cardinals, he's been going deep. You can see the couple of home runs he's had for them against the season. That good defense combined, Brandon Phillips has been carrying this ball club, and he is soon, Tom, to be moved out of that middle of the lineup back to the leadoff spot when Joey Votto comes back. But this year, you can see when he gets going against the Cardinals, they really get going overall, this Reds ball club.
You know, oftentimes we talk so much about Drew Stubbs. If he scores a run, they win a game. But you look inside those numbers, as Phillips go, so go the Reds. When we come back today, we'll talk about the pitching matchup. Adam Wainwright will get the ball for the Cardinals. And starting it for the Reds is Homer Bailey. You're watching Reds Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
It's a hot one here today. Temperatures continuing to rise throughout the rest of the afternoon. Our weather report brought to you by Thompson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drain Cleaning. Here's Scott Demick.
Hi, everyone. I'm meteorologist Scott Dimick. We are looking for a Reds win today. It's going to be just as hot as yesterday's game and slightly more humid. I think we have a blend of sun and clouds into the afternoon. We'll make a run close to 90 for the first pitch, 92 by the 7th inning, and 93 for the final out. Enjoy the game.
Adam Wainwright missed all of last year with elbow surgery, and Chris, it appears right now he is back to 100% health.
Well, it sure seems that way, Tom. And the month of July has been just simply lights out. The Cardinals have won his last 4 starts. His earned run average over that period of time down to low ones. But you can even go back to July as to when you mark when he really began to pick it up. Of course, the further you get away from your surgery, the stronger you will get. And he's got all of his pitches working right now. Homer Bailey made a mechanical adjustment before his last start. That was Tuesday against the Philadelphia Phillies, and he threw the ball extremely well. You know, he was matched up against Cliff Lee, so he had to match it up 0 for 0. He went out there and pitched the Reds a very fine ball game, 6 1/3 innings of 2 earned run baseball. That's the kind of Homer Bailey the Reds need this afternoon.
So the Reds looking to try and make it back-to-back wins in the rubber game of this 3-game series. They get a win today, and that lead over the Cardinals goes to 8 in the National League Central. First pitch coming up next. Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by the 2012 Ford F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. By the Regional Tourism Network, let us be your travel guide to Cincinnati. Visit CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili, game time is Skyline time. Stop by your favorite Skyline Chili today. Cardinals and the Reds in a series finale here at Great American Ballpark. Mike Matheny took over as manager for Tony La Russa prior to this season, and his team 12 games over the 500 mark. Their lineup: John Jay in center, again Matt Carpenter at third, Matt Holliday in left. Beltran, Yadier Molina back in the lineup after a day off yesterday, with a latter third of Skip Schumacher, Rafael Furcal, and Adam Wainwright. Homer Bailey gunning yet again for his 11th win of the season.
Well, he opens in his 26th start, that is, and Homer Bailey can pitch like he did his last time out. Against the Cardinals, however, he's been very good, and he's been very bad in his career. The last time they saw him was a Sunday night game, and it was a big-time game, big packed house here, and he pitched a whale of a ball game for the Reds that night. 8 innings of 9 hit, 1 earned run baseball for Homer Bailey then, and he just hoped that that is his best memory of pitching against the Cardinals, and he can shut them down again today.
Mac Bailey made a start against St. Louis early this year. Not terrible, not great. 5 2/3 innings, allowed the 4 earned runs, although he did walk 3 batters on that night. So here we go. John Jay, Matt Carpenter, Matt Holliday to start it in the St. Louis first inning. Ball 1 and we're underway. Brian Runge calling the balls and strikes today. Home plate umpire Tim McClellan, the crew chief, down at first. Jordan Baker at second, and Ted Barrett, the umpire, at third. Breaking ball is on the inside corner to even it up to Jay, and a ball and a strike. Jay among the hottest hitters in all of baseball during the month of August. Had the 3rd best average in the league coming into play today. Broken bat roller at Brandon, 1 out. The Reds defensively brought to you by your Ford dealers. Boy, were they good yesterday. Heisey replacing Stubbs in center today. Same infield we've seen throughout the series. And a battery of Homer Bailey and Ryan Hannigan. I tell you, Deanna Navarro worked very well yesterday with Mike Leake.
I think it was important for Deanna to go out and do that. Also important for Mike Leake to trust Navarro like he did.
Carpenter, first pitch swinging, a pop-up down the left field line. That's easy for Ludwig, and quickly 2 away after 4 pitches from Homer Bailey. Reds have won 6 of the 11 games against St. Louis this year. And we talk about what we talked a lot about on Friday night. This Cardinal offense in virtually every category ranking at the top or near the top from an offensive standpoint. But how sometimes some of the numbers can be misleading. And Mike Matheny would be the first to tell you. We've gone stretches where we'll put up 10, 11, 13 runs in a game, and then go for a week and average about 2 or 3 runs a game, and look no further than the season series against the Reds. They played 11 games. In 8 of the 11, the Cardinals have scored 3 runs or less. 8 of 11. But the other 3 games, they went 7, they went 11, and had 8 here in the win on Friday night. 6 of those 8 coming in 1 inning.
So really, bottom line is when you score runs like that in bunches, it raises your overall batting averages, and it makes your numbers look really more consistent than what they are. And that's what Mike Matheny is saying. He says, I wish we could spread those kind of averages out when it means a little bit more rather than get them all in bunches.
Tell you, very enjoyable to talk to Mike Matheny. We visited with him for a long time before the game yesterday. He's a native Ohioan. Swing and a miss, and it's a 1-2-3 opening frame for Homer Bailey. Reds come to bat against Adam Wainwright when we come back. Take a look at Dusty Baker's starting lineup today, and really not a lot of changes. Cozart leads off. 1 change is Heisey in center. Phillips Batting third, Lubbock out in left, Jay Bruce in right, Todd Frazier again at first, rolling red hot down at third. And Hannigan back in there after a day off yesterday with Bailey on the mound. Adam Wainwright, prior to that Tommy John surgery, among the very best in all of baseball, and he feels like he's getting back to that point again.
Well, his numbers certainly bear that out, Tom. He's a big guy, 6 feet 7 inches, and he throws downhill, gets a lot of ground balls. He has a very good changeup. The one thing that Adam Wainwright has done differently this time since coming back from his most recent surgeries, he's throwing more cut fastballs. He never had a cutter, never used it very much. It was normally fastball curveball for Wainwright. But now he's using that cutter, giving something a little extra for those hitters to think about.
Cozart looks at a strike. Wainwright got off to a terrible start. And a couple of those games were against the Reds. 0-3 in April with an ERA well over 7. Came back with a strong May, a very poor June. But as Chris mentioned a little while ago, the ERA a little over 2.5 in July, and it's been under 2 here in the month of August. And for whatever reason, the Reds have had a great deal of success against Adam Wainwright. You're talking about a guy who in his career is 33 games over 500. And look what he's done since the All-Star break. Tapper down to Carpenter, and Cozart retired. 1 away. St. Louis defensively brought to you by your Ford dealers. Jay flanked by Holiday and Beltran. David Freese got hit on the left wrist on Friday night, has not played since, so it's Carpenter at third with a battery of Wainwright and Yadier Molina. Strike one to Chris Heising, getting his first start of the series. Bruce Stubbs had an 8th inning single in what was his 5th at bat of the afternoon yesterday. It ended a string of 7 consecutive strikeouts by Stubbs. Breaking ball and weakly rolled to Schumacher, and they're 2 away.
Well, you're going to see a lot of that. If you're looking at that radar gun reading in the top of the screen, you'll see a lot of those pitches in the 70s here this afternoon with Adam Wainwright. He throws a fastball anywhere from 90 to 93. But his curveball is in the low to mid 70s, so it gives the hitter a lot to worry about and a lot of adjustment to make. That speed and, of course, the downward break of that curve.
Something about these Cardinals, it seems to bring out the best in Brandon Phillips. 3 hits, 2 runs scored, 2 runs batted in yesterday, and he looks at strike one. A home run yesterday was a first for Brandon Phillips in the entire month of August. 14 of them so far this year. 67 batted in and carrying a .294 average. There's that breaking ball way out in front. Came with 2 outs and nobody on in the 7th inning, and started what turned out to be a 4-run inning for the Reds against Brandon Dixon. And he's done a lot of this. Dumped down the right field line, and Phillips coming to second. Here comes a throw, and he is out, taking a gamble with 2 away, and Beltran cuts him down, and that'll end the inning. So a hit and nobody left. We played 1. As you get a look, perfect throw by Beltran. No score. Brought to you by Elk & Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Adrian Gonzalez, after coming over in that blockbuster deal from Boston, homered his very first at bat as a Dodger. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that trade okayed by Major League Baseball 2 days ago.
Well, completely unprecedented for those number of players to be moved after the waiver deadline is over. So they all had to clear waivers in order to make them eligible to be moved. They also came with a tremendous amount of money that has changed the books, the financial books for each ball club. The Red Sox getting out from underneath a lot of obligation to those players, and the Dodgers taking on those big salaries.
Ground ball to short off the bat of Alan Craig, and Cozart gobbles it up, and that's the way we begin things here in the St. Louis second inning of a scoreless game.
Now, these Cards are really wasting no time in each of the at-bats against Homer Bailey. They're coming right out of the on-deck circle ready to swing the bat. We've not had more than 3 pitches to any batter yet.
Carlos Beltran at .273 has 28 home runs and 85 batted in. Homer Bailey has retired the first 4 hitters on the afternoon, and now he's ahead at 1-2 on Beltran. Bailey took a lot off there, and had Beltran rolling over it foul to the first base side.
Yeah, that's one thing that Homer has done this year. He's gone back and thrown more true curveballs than sliders. There was a while there that he tried to just primarily go sinker slider, but he's averaged in more curveballs this year, take a little bit more off it. You'll see some pitches even in the 70s, like that curveball he got Matt Holliday on.
Chase a high fastball at 94, and you're not going to get to that. 2 strikeouts on the day for Homer Bailey. Farmers Insurance Group report card on Homer Bailey and his struggles, Chris, as a right-hander with right-hander.
Yeah, with 15 home runs right there, you know, that's to be expected in this ballpark. But I think when you get behind with a fastball, that's where they're doing most of their damage off of Homer Bailey. And he's thrown nothing but strikes early in the count so far today, and that does a world of difference for a pitcher as far as being able to expand the strike zone when you get a strike in there early on, as opposed to having to shrink the strike zone for the hitter when you get behind him in the count. They've got a good strike caller behind the plate too. Brian Runge has always been known as somewhat more of a pitcher's umpire than a hitter's umpire. So he'll call that low strike, and that ought to help both pitchers.
Yadier Molina did not play yesterday after getting 3 hits in a series opener. That's in the air. And making the play is Heisey. It has been 17 pitches for Bailey getting through the front 2. Well, mark your calendars. Our next Paycor Business Day special is coming up a week from Wednesday, September 5th here at the ballpark. Take a break from work. It'll be the Reds and the Phillies. You buy a $15 view level ticket and get $10 in concession credits. September 5th. Reds and Phils, 381 Reds, or visit reds.com/skipwork. That young man's wearing out that cup down there. Maybe sharpening the molars. Apparently he wants something else back in there. You know, he had that shirt on, the Anderson Township Little League. Of course, they have a field out there named after my dad, the Hall of Famer, Marty Brenneman, out at Julius Park along Clough Pike there in Anderson. That was probably something my dad provided for everybody, and of course provided it for them empty. 0-1 delivery on Ludwig coming up.
You got to have one that you can put your pencils in.
Tell you what, you know, he is not only looking mighty dapper these days, and being told, he tells us by a lot of people how good he looks.
Yeah.
But I'm even in his attire these days. I was quite surprised. I mean, take a look at that shirt. There's a check swing, and that didn't last long. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for Ryan Ludwig leading off the second inning. Take a look at that Paisley shirt. Wow.
Actually, the word used to describe him recently as last night by a young lady who had wanted to call him over to the table, was hot.
Yes.
Oh, you got to love that, though. There's your dad, 70 years old. I mean, you can kind of look at yourself into the future. So you will kind of fall into that same look, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Pretty close to it.
Yeah.
Hot
but
look.
I know I'll never hear those words from my wife.
Oh, sure you will.
Oh, no. We all know better. Everybody out there knows better. 1 ball and 1 strike. Two and 1 to Bruce. Boy, he had a nice game yesterday. Jay Bruce in the field, made a couple of outstanding plays defensively. Was on base twice, hit a 2-run home run, drew a walk, scored another run. And now 3 and 1 on Jay Bruce. Good numbers for Jay against Adam Wainwright. Soon as it left the bat yesterday in a 3-run 6, there was no doubt about it. Took it from a 2-1 game to a 4-1 game, and the Reds never looked back en route to an 8-2 victory. Payoff pitch coming to Bruce, and pulled in the right center, a base hit.
Well, the Cardinals' strategy with Jay Bruce is simply try to pitch him down and away. And if you get to that spot, you're going to have a good chance of getting him out. If you don't, and you elevate the baseball, or if you catch the center of the plate like he did yesterday, he's going to hit the ball very hard. Here, Wainwright needs to throw a strike, and he gets that ball up about waist high. Even off the plate, that's a pitch that most hitters can get to.
So now Todd Frazier. Reds have their first base runner of the afternoon. Well, what a force Frazier has been since getting a chance to play regularly. You know, Dusty Baker made comments today, I think, that surprised a lot of people. He continues to be asked about what happens with Frazier when Joey Votto comes back. And by the way, first things first, the biggest news of anything is Joey Votto is going out on rehab beginning Tuesday in Dayton, Ohio. So he'll play for Dayton on Tuesday and Wednesday, with the goal being he'll rejoin the team on Thursday in Houston and be in that lineup as early as Friday night, if all goes well. And we're certainly hoping and praying it does. Can't wait to get him back. Double play ball here. We'll have to get back to Frazier when we return. End of 2, no score. Well, as a reminder to you, we invite you to look forward to Miller Time coming up later on in our telecast today, brought to you by our friends at Miller Lite. Fox Sports Ohio has brought you the Reds for years. Now we bring you to the Reds. For more information on how you and your group can get on the Fox Sports Ohio Fan Express to Reds Country, call 513-765-7600 or visit Reds.com/Fan Express. Tomorrow, the Fan Express will be bouncing around Florence, Kentucky for all to see. So sign your group up. Seven, 8, 9 in a batting order for the Cardinals in a scoreless game. Homer Bailey misses ball 1 on Skip Schumacher. Swung the bat well in this series. 4 hits and 8 at bats. This guy's just a nice hitter. Against right-handed pitching, is a left-handed batter. Not a home run hitter. Not a lot of extra base hit power. But just a good, solid hitter.
I remember the Schumacher came up as an outfielder, and because he lacked that power, they decided to try him at second base. So he's made the adjustment to become a very nice infielder. And, of course, he keeps a good eye at the plate. He's got good on-base percentages. Solid swing there.
And extra base hit power perhaps here as Heisey cuts it off. Here comes a throw. They're not going to get Schumacher. And he's aboard with a double. You know, the bottom part of the order is the only part of the order that hurt Mike Leake yesterday. There's 7 and 8 hitters in their lineup combined for 4 of their 11 hits yesterday.
Well, if you look at this lineup and just run the clock back or the calendar back a ways, the bottom of the lineup is what is now used to be the top of the lineup for them. Schumacher and Furcal used to be number 1 and 2 in the lineup. So there is no break as you get down towards 7, 8, and 9 like there is oftentimes on other ball clubs. This is just a good, solid offensive team from top to bottom.
So now for call, 271 batter, 5 home runs, 49 driven in. Pulled foul. got a pitch to hit right there, fouling it straight back, and Bailey ahead at 0-2. Finishing a thought real quickly about Todd Frazier and the comments made by Dusty Baker. When Dusty was asked about where Frazier was going to play upon the return of Joey Votto, he said, you know what, he's going to obviously play some third. He will play and spell Brandon Phillips from time to time. Joey Votto's not going to be playing every day when he comes back. They're going to work him in slowly. 1-2 on for call. He'll spell Ryan Ludwig out in left, and then he said perhaps we'll play him some in right and move Jay Bruce over to center. That is something that Dusty Baker has said a number of times he would not consider doing, moving Bruce into center field. Fly ball that way. Heisey to catch. And Schumacher staying put, one out.
Well, Jay Bruce has played center field before. Remember when Ken Griffey Jr. was shifted from center to right? Bruce went into center field. I think there's a time when you just try to get as much offense onto your ball club as you possibly can, and that would be the motivation behind Dusty Baker playing Frazier in right and Bruce in center.
Tell you what, that would have the potential of being some kind of offensive club. Dusty's already gone on record as saying that he's planning on flipping the lineup around upon the return of Votto, meaning as that one's fouled away by Wainwright, getting Brandon back at the top of the order. But boy, all of a sudden you start bunching up Phillips up at the top. You have Votto, Ludwig, Bruce, Frazier, Rowland all going the way they're going right now. It'd be the best lineup the Reds have had in a long time. Potential.
Well, just the addition of getting Joey Votto back makes it a more balanced lineup. And right now they've been winning, even though they're predominantly right-handed, and they are sometimes susceptible to good right-handed pitching just because there aren't any left-handed enforcers other than Jay Bruce. If there's only one in the lineup, you can pitch around him. But if you got he and Votto together, then you're looking at a little different situation for a right-handed pitcher.
You know, Chris, you always get back to, though, at what cost? I think everybody agrees. I mean, Jay Bruce is an outstanding right fielder. Drew Stubbs is an outstanding center fielder. If all of a sudden you moved a new player into right, took Stubbs out and moved Bruce over to center, how much would you be hurting what many feel is the best defensive team in the National League, if any?
So really what it comes down to is you evaluate what balls that Drew Stubbs can get to in center field that Jay Bruce would not get to, and how often does it happen? How many times is a ball hit in the gap that Stubbs runs one down that Bruce might not? So you ask yourself what the frequency is, and then you kind of go from there when you evaluate the whole thing. Over a shorter period of time, say 1 month, or the few times that Dusty Baker would do that, probably he's not going to expose your ball club. If you did it all year long, now you're talking about, I don't know, maybe an extra base hit a week, a couple of base hits a week. Then you have more pitches on the pitcher. It affects your bullpen because he runs his pitch count up, and so on and so forth. But I think over the short run, it doesn't affect your ball club defensively much at all.
The and 2 on Wainwright. Wainwright 7 hits and 53 at bats. He does have 5 runs batted in, 1 extra base hit, a double. He's got a runner out at second with 1 out and no score here in the top of the 3rd inning. And Wainwright hammers one into left. They are going to hold the runner at 3rd. So Bailey gives up a base hit after running the count full to the pitcher Wainwright. They're on the corners with only 1 out in the inning.
I was a little surprised right there in that sequence that Skip Schumacher didn't try to take 3rd base at one time, because there was really no Reds infielder that was holding him close. Kozar was playing deep, trying to cover and cut off as much ground as you could in case of a ground ball off the bat of Wainwright, and Brandon Phillips was kind of pulled around towards first base. He didn't take the opportunity that the Reds were giving him there to take the extra base. That would have already scored a run.
But now John Jay, who bounced out to Brandon Phillips leading off the game. With runners on the corners and only one out in the inning. Check swing. It looked like he went. He did, says a home plate umpire Brian Runge.
Well, we'll see if the Cardinals are as aggressive this time through the order as they were the first time through.
Talked about how hot both Jay and Molina have been here in August. Two of the three best hitters in the National League. And that is a fair. Is it a foul ball or a fair ball? Foul ball. Trying to put down the safety squeeze there. And now Bailey ahead in the count at 0-2.
Well, that's kind of an odd play, especially on a one-strike count. If you want to put down a safety squeeze and then you foul it off if you have a 2-0 count or a 1-0 count, but now you've gotten yourself in a situation. Actually, you could have called him out because his back foot stepped out of the batter's box, and when he made contact with the baseball.
All right, let's see if Bailey can put Jay away without that runner getting in. And that's not going to happen. A two-strike base hit, back-to-back hitters. The pitcher and now John Jay, and the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead.
Well, you might argue that John Jay really should not have been in a situation where he could hit this ball. He should have been called out on the previous pitch. Well, look where his foot is right here. It's out of the batter's box. When you're out of the batter's box and you make contact with the baseball, you're out. That play missed by home plate umpire Brian Runge. So Jay comes back and gets a base hit to drive a run in.
Ball one on Matt Carpenter. Two on, one in. Big at bat in this inning so far, without a doubt, is Wainwright. You're allowed the leadoff double. You got an out without the runner advancing. And then after getting ahead of the Cardinal pitcher, you run it to 3-2. He's looking fastball and whacks it to keep the inning alive. So now Bailey trying to keep him right there. 1-1 to Carpenter. 2 balls and a strike. Bailey against St. Louis has been very, very good in his ballpark, going back even to 2009. Gone 7 or more innings in 4 of the 5 starts with a 3-1 record and an ERA of under 2.5. And after retiring the first 6, he's all of a sudden run into trouble here in the 3rd inning. Drop foul out of play. 2-2 on Carpenter, who flied out to Ryan Ludwig in the 1st inning.
Well, even though he's been good here, if you look at the career numbers of Homer versus Cardinal hitters, you realize that their whole roster is batting up over 320 off of him. They've got some guys individually that have done very well off of Homer Bailey, like the guy on deck, Matt Holliday, a 409 batting average, 22 at bats and 4 runs driven in. And Homer knows that. I mean, you look in the on-deck circle, you see who's up there, so there's a real good chance that Carpenter's going to get something to hit right here.
Well, today anyway, Homer has not shown that he wants to throw much soft stuff on full counts in at-bats.
That's because he hasn't thrown his breaking ball for called strikes.
And so here you are in a full count again, and you know what Matt Carpenter's thinking. Dead red with 2 on. And another base hit into the outfield. Going to hold Wainwright at 3rd. And Bailey just can't put him away. He's had 2 strikes on each of the last 3 batters and given up base hits.
Well, he throws a breaking ball right there, but it's a harder breaking ball, a variety of a slider. Don't know if it was a slider or a cutter, a high 80s breaking ball that just kind of rolls right up at the plate, although that's not that bad of a pitch and a pretty decent swing by Carpenter just to find a hole. Now you get down to the part of the lineup that can really do you some damage.
So they are loaded for Holiday. Still just a 1-0 ball game.
Yeah, really, if you're Homer Bailey, you've got to be telling yourself, hey, instead of worrying about the bases loaded and worrying about the big guy at the plate, you tell yourself, I am 1 pitch from getting out of this inning. I need to make a good pitch right here, get a ground ball, let my defense get me out of this inning. I give up 1 run right here. That's a major victory.
Bailey only threw a total of 17 pitches getting through the first 2 innings. His next pitch here in the 3rd will be his 44th in the game. Faced 5 batters in his Cardinal 3rd and allowed 4 base hits, a double and 3 singles. And now hoping for a double play ball off the bat of Holiday, which is not coming. 1 run scores, another run will score, and the Cardinals lead 3-0.
You know, if you start diagramming all these base hits the Cardinals have had this inning, it's like they found the holes. I mean, some days you have ball games where you get a ground ball like that off the bat of Matt Holliday, and it's right at the 3rd baseman. But instead, this time it's in that hole between 3rd and short. Same way with the base hit that went into right field by Matt Carpenter. So, you know, some days you have those days where those hard hit balls are right at him. Mike Leake had one of those days yesterday. He made some very good pitches, but they also centered a lot of baseballs against him that happened to be right at the red. So when you've got the atom ball working, that's great. When you don't have it working, you've got to really buckle up and make some pitches.
Three-run home so far here in the Cardinal 3rd inning. Runners at 1st and 2nd, and now the cleanup batter and the best hitter in all of baseball, numbers-wise anyway, with runners in scoring position. That's Alan Craig. Homer's got to find some way to just stop the bleeding.
Well, what he's got to do is find a way to throw that curveball that you just saw more consistently down the zone.
Good pitch here, sinking away from Craig to get ahead at 1-2. So here we are yet again on a 2-strike pitch, and we'll see if Bailey can have better luck finishing off Craig.
Well, based on how Craig looked on that last pitch, wouldn't you be tempted to throw the same thing? A little 89-mile-an-hour. I'm not sure if it was a cutter or a slider, but something down and away. Did not have a very good cut at.
He did, and it missed.
Really, that was the same pitch. Craig chased one out of the zone last time, and Sometimes you get a hitter looking out there, and you can even expand the zone, give him what he's looking for, but make it just a little bit farther away from the plate, and he'll chase it. He did not that time.
Third pitch of this inning for Homer Bailey. And he gets his second out of the inning, fanning Craig.
Well, Craig gives him a pretty good at bat right there, but Homer Bailey ends up on top. Our Mazda pitch-by-pitch look. First pitch curveball. Then he got to throw a little changeup down here, try to get him to chase, and he did not. So he's staying away from the fastball for the most part. A slider swing and miss, a slider that misses. Trying to hang in there, and then they're just going to throw him that little, I guess it was a splitter. Maybe he just took something off the fastball right there and ran it down and in, and Craig swings right over the top of it. Our Mazda pitch by pitch.
Well, they had Beltran play perfectly there, and a rocket right at Cozart will end the inning. But the Cardinals come up with 3 runs, and that's their lead after 2.5.
Incredible ride, and I'm so proud once again to be here. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, when I was talking to my wife after we got the call from the Hall of Fame, the first thing that I said is that I wanted to go to Cincinnati as soon as we could, because we, the fans here in Cincinnati, the loyal Cincinnati Reds people, we got it done and we did it.
Pride of Moeller High School and the pride of Cincinnati, Ohio. Number 11, Barry Larkin, had his jersey officially retired by the Reds franchise here yesterday afternoon. Just a wonderful ceremony down on the field. So many of his teammates came back for it. Many others that are still playing sent video messages. Just a great weekend for the great Barry Larkin. Mom and Dad were here, his entire family. Reds down 3-0 as Roland pops up to Schumacher, leading off the bottom of the third. Of course, Barry Larkin inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame last month. But here in his hometown, born and raised, grew up watching the Big Red Machine, played his entire career for the Reds, and then have your jersey and your number retired. The first pitch capping off just a marvelous day for the Larkin family.
I'll tell you, what a great day. He is so well-spoken, so polished, so classy. I mean, that's the way he played. He would fit right in on this ball club that the Reds have right now, you know.
I still think the guy would make a great field manager, much like Joe Morgan. Everybody has felt that way since he stepped away from baseball, made a great second career or third career as a baseball broadcaster, did Joe Morgan.
I mean, but to make the transition to being a manager, you've got to be totally committed. I mean, that is a 24/7 job, nearly year-round.
Yep.
Same way for being a general manager nowadays. There is no off season, and during the season, you rarely see, you don't really have time to do anything else. I mean, you get an occasional off day, and that off day is often taken up maybe with a conference call or conversations back to the front office about player movement or.
A lot of funny swings against Wainwright today. 8 in a row. Or I beg your pardon, he's allowed 2 hits, but he's gone through the first 8 batters without giving up a run.
Well, he's really got the curveball working, and that's the hammer pitch for him. His fastball, you know, when he broke into the league back in 2005, 2004, he was a reliever, but he also threw the ball harder. His fastball was at least 2 miles per hour faster on average than it is right now. So he's throwing fewer fastballs now, more curveballs, but right now that curveball's been a big pitch in this game.
Behind the back for a call, throws out Bailey, and a quick 1-2-3 third for the Cardinal right-hander. 3-0 St. Louis. We go to the 4th. Kick off Cincinnati's football season. Fox Sports Ohio has a half-hour preseason look ahead with Inside Bearcats football premiering Tuesday at 8:30. In-depth interviews with the UC student athletes and a chat with head coach Butch Jones about the upcoming year. Tuesday night 8:30 before Reds Live. But Butch Jones is ready to roll. Bearcats do not start like virtually every other Division I football program will this coming Saturday. They will open the following week in prime time with a Thursday night kickoff at Nippert Stadium against the Pitt Panthers. That's a conference game to begin the year, and a big one. The Reds in Fox Sports Ohio would like to send out a birthday wish today. Pete Loudon of Liberty, Indiana, celebrating 75 today, watching at home. So, Pete, we hope you are having a great day, a happy 75th birthday from all of us. Yadier Molina leading off the Cardinal fourth inning with St. Louis in front 3-0. One pitch and one out on the fly ball to Jay Bruce. Skip Schumacher now the batter. He began that 3-run rally in the third inning with a double in the right center field. Bailey wanting, needing a 1-2-3-4, a quick inning anyway, after that lengthy third, which saw him allow the 3 runs on 5 Cardinal hits.
Well, you saw the pitch counts for the innings that Homer Bailey has already had. First 2 innings very quick. Then you get down to the bottom of the order, and it was Schumacher and Furcal and then Wainwright who worked him much more as far as made him throw more pitches.
Broke his bat there, and Cozart throws out Schumacher for out number 2.
And you go back to the fact that those guys at the bottom of the order were once top of the order guys, and I think maybe they're just used to being a little less aggressive in the batter's box.
It is a 1-2-3-4 inning for Homer Bailey. Reds have a top of the order coming up, trailing by 3.
Wainwright, just 3 days away from his 31st birthday. He's one of those guys on the ball club for the Cardinals that keeps them loose in the dugout. Got all sorts of little dances, little handshakes. His teammates play along, have some fun. You need a guy like that.
Good stuff.
It is.
He's a classic kid, smart kid, nice kid.
Well, on game day, of course, you put your game face on.
Yep.
There's not a lot of that goofing around, but you know, when you're a starting pitcher and you're pitching once and you're resting 4 days, you've got to do something to entertain yourself and sometimes entertain your teammates. And he's not doing a whole lot of entertaining of the Reds so far this afternoon, except getting that curveball in there and essentially shutting him down on just 2 base hits.
Yeah, Phillips tried to turn a single into a double. That was the final out in the first inning. Bruce had a base hit with 1 out in the second, erased on a double play. So here we go in the fourth. That's now first pitch strikes to 9 of the first 10 batters from Adam Wainwright. He's really got that curveball working early on today.
You know, it's not a pitch that you see a lot of anymore. It seems to be that the curveball has gone out of vogue compared to the slider, the slurve, the splitter. There's a little slider as well. He'll throw that. There's a cutter that'll be up around 88 miles an hour. Slider in the mid-80s.
McCall gobbles up the ground ball and throws out Cozart to open up the fourth inning. And as always, we remind you, if a Red were to hit the Toyota sign out in right center field today, it would be Mary Myers from Liberty Township who would win the new Tundra on display here at the ballpark. And you're starting to run out of time, so register for your chance to win in an upcoming game. Stop by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. See if Heisey can get something started for the Reds here in the fourth. Strike one. What made me think, Chris, about this, seeing some of the video there of Adam Wainwright and the fun he's having with some of his teammates, really for all the world to see. And that's what it's become in this day and age of television and cameras everywhere. It's one thing to be in the clubhouse. It's another thing to be in the dugout. Somebody's going to see it, and they're going to put it on television. And, you know, there really is a different feeling about this entire Cardinal team than there has been after longer than a decade with Tony La Russa as its manager. And you would never second guess anything La Russa did, because his success extraordinary, among the game's very best. Won 3 World Series overall, 2 of them in St. Louis. But I don't remember seeing a lot of that going on in the Cardinal dugout prior to this year. Do you?
No, you're right. It's a different feel. It's a different feel, I think, between the 2 ball clubs. There were always a little bit of an edge. Even when you went over and you go to the Cardinal batting practice and hang around their batting cage and talk to their players with Tony, there was just a little bit of an edge. And of course, everything he did was geared towards winning that game. So much so that you'd ask Tony, "How you doing today, Tony?" He'd say, "Well, ask me at 10:30 tonight, and I'll tell you," based on whether his team won or lost. And you're right, they've had tremendous success under La Russa. But there are a lot of different ways to get that done. And it's just a different feel. And I think that, you know, they changed over a number of the coaches on the coaching staff. And you also have to remember one thing about this Cardinal ball club. I mean, they're trailing the Reds 7 games right now, but they're without their other ace pitcher, Chris Carpenter, all year long.
Carpenter is traveling with a team. In fact, here on Friday night, he had a bullpen session and was throwing. And no, they have not ruled out, because there's nobody that has a history of the operation that Carpenter had. It's not like a guy with Tommy John or a guy who has rotator cuff surgery. I mean, they removed a rib. You know, he had some blockage going on. No structural damage to the arm, the shoulder, anything like that. But it is their surgery where, you know, there aren't a lot of major league pitchers or minor league pitchers that have had it, and you have something to reflect on. They are not ruling out the idea that Carpenter could come back as early as this year. Well, what a lift that would be to everybody except teams who had to play him. I tell you, Wainwright is just wearing people out here today. There has not been a ball hit hard since the Bruce single in the second inning.
Now looking fastball getting curved. This is what your swing's going to look like. But now with 2 strikes, Phillips will adjust, make a little different approach right here. His base hit to right field. Shows that he's been so anxious to go that way lately. And really over the last 2 months, Brandon Phillips has gotten his base hits to right.
Two on Brandon. Got a piece of a breaking ball to hang around. Two and two to Phillips with 2 down and nobody on. And we'll do it once more. Cardinals got all 3 runs of the game back in the 3rd inning. John Jay with an RBI single, a 2-run bases loaded single off the bat of Matt Holliday. And the Reds with 2 base hits. Pretty good at bat here by Brandon. Not a lot of good swings, but swings to hang around.
But they're playing him way around to right field. Carlos Beltran hugging the line. Center fielder over in right center field. Left fielder punched over there in the left center field. That's a classic pitch him away, play him away philosophy right there. And that curveball, they got out ahead of it. The reason he fouled it wide of third base.
8 pitches so far in this at bat. Wainwright against Brandon Phillips.
Well, he comes right over the top of that curveball, doesn't he? Look at Brandon on his heels in the front foot, just trying to make contact right there. Good shot from our Performance Honda slow-mo cam.
And another foul ball out of play. The next pitch will be the 10th pitch in this at bat to Brandon.
Well, this is the kind of at bat that if Brandon's going to be a leadoff hitter again, you expect to see a lot of this. And he's the one guy on that team that is versatile enough to be able to, you know, hit leadoff or hit third, hit fourth.
Go down the right field line towards the corner, and it's out of play. So 10 pitches in the at bat. This will be number 11. Wynn takes ball 3 low and away. Well, you know, you get that many pitches into an at-bat, and I nearly said, well, that's ball 4 to draw the walk. You rarely ever see an 11-pitch at-bat where the count is still not gone full.
Yeah,
and on
right.
the 11th pitch, it just did. High fly ball into left center field. Giving chase is Jay, and he'll get it. So Wainwright wins the battle, and right now in front in the WAR, 3-0 game. Reds baseball with you. Visit Reds.com and order MLB.TV today. Baseball everywhere. Three runs, 5 hits for St. Louis. No runs, 2 hits for the Reds. And we're set to begin the 5th inning here at Great American Ballpark. It's a warm day today, but getting a little break from the bright sunshine with a few more clouds, a lot more clouds than we had here yesterday, a late afternoon start time. But certainly the humidity way down from where we're accustomed to having it in the month of August. It's been very, very nice this weekend. Wainwright to lead it off against Homer Bailey. He'll be followed by John Jay and then Matt Carpenter.
Yeah, we had our August in July this year.
Wainwright singled and scored his first time up. This time a foul ball to Todd Frazier. 30 minutes before every game, you know where to dial. Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing, right here on Fox Sports Ohio. And we'll be coming your way a little bit later tomorrow night. Be jumping on the team charter following the game today and make our way to the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. Come your way from Chase Field tomorrow night. Well, I can never quite get used to Chase Field after that ballpark opened, and I have to be working out there, and it was Bank One ballpark.
Well, when you name your ballpark after a bank, there's a pretty good chance that somewhere down the road you're going to end up having to rename it.
That's lined into left field, and there are 2 away in the inning. Well, if I'm not mistaken, Bank One used to be based out of Ohio.
I believe Columbus.
And then Chase gobbled up Bank One, and now it's Chase Field. But we'll be there tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. Looking forward to getting out to Arizona, although this time of the year, mighty steamy out there. Temperatures daily reaching triple digits.
You always chuckle out there when you ask them what the weather's going to be, and they'll say, well, it's not as hot. It's only going to be about 105.
Yep.
You know, the front moving through.
12 years I lived out there, that people talk about all the time the summertime, much like the winter time where we live here, and it really never bothered me. The monsoon season, which is right now, so when we get out there, there has a chance to be a little bit of humidity to go along with very high temperatures, so it can be a little rough in August, early September. But if you don't have that humidity, I don't know, I never thought it was all that bad. 1-2 on Carpenter. One and two to count on Carpenter with 2 down and nobody on. The Reds trailing 3-0. And a breaking ball. Carpenter started 2 and in the late off. Phillips into right field, and that's a 2-out single for Carpenter to keep this 5th inning alive.
Carpenter, one of those kind of throwback hitters that does not wear a batting glove at the plate. You don't see too many of those anymore now. More often than not, you see guys that used to be just one batting glove. You always wear a glove on your lower hand like you would in golf, and now nearly everybody wears 2. Maybe he doesn't know that his teammates get him free.
They do. Whatever you do, don't let my son hear that anybody gets batting gloves for free, because he'll be making sure that I then find them to get them for him. There's ball 1 low on Matt Holliday.
Well, I might just let that secret slip.
Well, don't do that. That or headbands for our little girl, and anything else is okay.
Now, finding one free in his size may be a little bit more.
See, that's the problem, because I've tried to go out and buy it.
Right.
And you look all over the place, and they only want the ones the big leaguers wear. You know what I mean? The brand, whatever brand.
Those are not cheap.
No. But like you said, you got to find the size. He's got the Nike batting gloves there, just Matt Holliday. 1-1 the count on Homer Bailey against Holliday, and he waved through that one. Holliday had a bases loaded 2-run single in that 3-1 third. That pitch right there, I'd tilt to it almost like a split finger fastball.
He's thrown a lot of those, and that's been a very effective pitch for a homer who throughout his young career has kind of experimented with different changeup grips, but that splitter has been a good pitch for him.
Seeing Carpenter dive back to the bag there, it makes me recall Friday night when you pointed out that device, contraption, whatever you want to call it, worn by Rafael Furcal over the hand that he uses to go into a base when sliding head first. We got to ask the umpires about that. I thought you asked a very good question. I know you were saying it tongue in cheek, but it makes you wonder. How long could that thing be that you put over your hand? Runner goes. And a throw by Hannigan right on the money. See you later, Matt Carpenter. Boy, Hannigan, he can really throw. All right, let's see if anything can get started. Ludwig, Bruce, Frazier coming up. Reds down 3-0. Well, enjoy fun in the sun this baseball season. The Kroger bleachers here at Great American Ballpark is a place to catch all the action. Tickets start as low as $8. And additional savings in line if you bring out a group of 25 or more. 381 Reds or log on to Reds.com. All righty, bottom half of the fifth. St. Louis 3 runs. The Reds none. Ludwig, Bruce, Frazier, and that's in the air to left field. Drifting back is Holiday, and that's out number 1.
Boy, he didn't get that ball at all, but yet it went right up to the wall. They're playing him deep anyway, of course. Ryan Ludwig got a little bit in on the trademark that time.
Of course, the Flags are at half staff here today, and remembering one of the true American heroes. You know, oftentimes we talk about heroes. That is a word that is overused when you talk about some, rarely used when you talk about many that truly are heroes. But a man who has made Cincinnati his home for much of his adult life, an American hero, Neil Armstrong, passing away yesterday, 82 years young. July of 1969, Apollo 11, the first man to walk on the moon. And he will be missed by so many all over the world, and especially so in his home of Cincinnati. And I just talked to his son, Mark Armstrong, a couple of weeks ago, and it was prior to when his dad went in for the heart procedure, which they felt at the time everything was going to be okay. He had been in marvelous health. I mean, great shape. But clearly things did not go well. The family wanted everything quiet, and so that was the way he was. I mean, if there was ever a man who wanted no publicity, wanted no notoriety in any way at all, it was Neil Armstrong.
Big baseball fan, though. Neil was. He would come down to the ballpark from time to time. We'd see him down here. Was told that he washed a lot.
I believe he was originally from, off the top of my head, Wapakoneta, Ohio. Of course, it also taught at the University of Cincinnati in recent years. But our thoughts and prayers to the entire family and all his many friends, the late Neil Armstrong. Eight in a row retired now by Wainwright since he allowed a base hit to Jay Bruce back in that second inning. Look foul. This will be the ninth pitch in this at bat. So at least the Reds are making Wainwright work a little harder. Brandon Phillips had a 12 pitch at bat. And now this will be number 9 in the at bat to Jay Bruce. Struck him out. Second of the game by Wainwright.
He's been on his game lately, Wainwright has, and he cuts that ball right in under the hands of Jay Bruce. He's thrown 2 complete games in his last 4. He's got 3 complete games overall on the season,
including a pair of complete game shutouts. And working on a shutout here today. We're in the 5th. Frazier hit with a pitch. Well, the Reds will take first base, any way they can get him. Even a painful way. Come for the Reds Day for more fun. Experience 3 museums in 1 building out at the Cincinnati Museum Center. Make it a getaway weekend and book your stay at CincinnatiUSA.com. Scotty Rowland popped up to Schumacher, is only at bat today. Wainwright just 30 years old. We told you, and Chris mentioned it earlier, when they first brought him in the major leagues because of all the problems they had down in their bullpen. They had Wainwright as a rookie closing for the Cardinals. When they won the World Series, he closed out the Division Series, the League Championship Series, and the World Series when they finished off the Detroit Tigers. But he wasn't going to stay there. There's a roller to short, and that will end the inning. Reds go quietly once more. We played 5. Wainwright working on a 2-hitter in a 3-0 lead.
6th. Jim Day with you just beside the Reds dugout, and you heard Tom and Chris talk about it earlier. News of the day, Joey Votto is planning on going to Dayton to start a rehab assignment on Tuesday. Dusty Baker said the hopes are that he'll join the big club in Houston next weekend. We'll keep our fingers crossed on that one, but the Reds have played so well without Joey Votto. In fact, Joey said baseball, this is proof, is the ultimate team sport.
In my opinion, this is probably the best team sport. You know, it's just as important what the guy does in the 7th inning when he comes out of the bullpen as, you know, the guy that bunts a guy over and tacks on that winning run. So, you know, I realize that, you know, if I didn't realize that, this stretch certainly showed me.
Well, guys, make no mistake about it. Baseball is the ultimate team sport, and you can get by for a period of time without Joey Votto, but it's even bigger of an addition when he comes back.
Sinking liner and a gamble and a bad one at that by Heisey. This might be an inside the park home run, although Holliday's pretty much open to shoot, and he'll stop at third. If you're going to make that attempt, you got to make sure at the very minimum you're able to knock that ball down, or that's what can happen.
It's a lot harder decision to make on a line drive, because when you hit it hard like Holliday does right here and it gets by you, then it will roll all the way to the wall. If it's a pop-up that you have a chance of deciding whether you dive for or play on the bounce, the risk isn't nearly as much, because the ball would likely hit, stay right around where you dove. Lead off triple. The Reds are going to bring the infield in. They do not want that 4th run to score.
Well, you're already down 3-0. The way Wainwright's throwing the ball today, it's a tall order. Alan Craig 0 for 2 is grounded to short and struck out swinging. Tapper foul wide at third, and Bailey ahead 0-2. That was a pitch you may remember he got Craig to chase a couple of times, his last at bat when he got a strikeout. Holliday at third with nobody out here in the St. Louis 6th. Did a ton, and the Cardinals lead 5-0. Boy, 2 strike pitches today have just killed Homer Bailey. In fact, that has been an MO for Bailey, quite honestly, the entire year.
Yeah, you know, you're looking for a put-away pitch. And when you hang the breaking ball, I mean, a lot of times, you know, there are not too many secrets now between the Reds and the Cardinals. You play them so many times. Homer Bailey has had 11 starts career-wise against the St. Louis Cardinals, so they know him. They know his sequences. He's always got to change it up, but it's more execution of the pitch. So if you're thinking you're behind on the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes, like Alan Craig was right there, and you're thinking, all right, I'm looking for a slider right here. And if you guess right and then get the ball right down Broadway, there's no advantage in pitching with 2 strikes. You've got to bury that pitch down and away and just not make a mistake over the middle of the plate, and that's what Homer has done. They've had a number of 2-strike hits, none bigger and harder than that one.
Of the 8 hits surrendered by Homer Bailey today, 5 of the 8 have come with 2 strikes. Still nobody out. Cardinals with a 5-0 lead, and Beltran, who's 0 for 2, digging in. Fly ball into left will back up Ludwig to the track, but he has room for out number 1. Still a long way to go in this one. Granted, you're down 5-0, and granted, Wainwright has been lights out. But heck, look no further than 2 nights ago. Reds seemingly in control with a 5-2 game. And the Cardinals erupted for 6 runs in the 6th inning en route to the win. Yadier Molina 0 for 2. He sat out the game yesterday. We knew he had had problems with his back here over the last couple of weeks. But on Thursday, I beg your pardon, the final game of the Astros series in St. Louis before coming to Cincinnati, Molina, trying to throw out a would-be base stealer, rolled over an ankle. And Chris, we even saw in the game on Friday night when he hit the home run and when he scored from second base on a base hit. He was not running well at all on Friday, so he got a day off yesterday.
Yeah, but both teams are up at full speed as far as their lineups today. Oftentimes you'll see on a Sunday, last game of the series, Dusty Baker will rest these guys, especially if there's no off day tomorrow, and there is not. The Reds will play in Arizona tomorrow night. So sometimes you'll see a couple of the, substitutes in there, but Dusty Baker and the Cardinal manager Mike Matheny is saying, hey, this is a big game for both ball clubs. On one hand, the Reds want to bury the Cardinals, hopefully once and for all with a win, put them 8 games back. The Cardinals are thinking, hey, we're right in the middle of the wild card, yeah, but this one game today is really worth 2 games when you look at it from a series standpoint.
2-2 delivery. Breaking ball away. Payoff pitch on Molina. Hit hard, but right at Frazier. 2 out. This MLB on Fox season. Fox Sports so proud to support Boys and Girls Clubs of America, where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. While we're on the topic a little bit earlier of happy birthday wishes today, one of our favorite people that we see every day here at Great American Ballpark is Bob Gansmiller. Works outside the entrance to the press box, celebrating his 75th birthday today. The guy is just quite simply the best. Good man. Been around here for a long time. As his second career. We're lucky to have him.
No, you're not kidding about that. He was over at Synergy Field / Riverfront Stadium for a while. He's the guy that escorts all of our guests, so we have a lot of them come in and out of our TV booth.
He's hit into left field by Schumacher.
So he really is a guy that is the filter at the front desk. So he gets all of your guests back here and usually weeds out the riffraff that I try to sneak in.
And of course, his first career was in law enforcement, so he knows where to spot them from not all that far away.
He had me sized up right from the very
right from the beginning. But Bobby, happy birthday. We hope you're having a great day here at the ballpark today, and maybe get a little downtime starting tomorrow or later tonight. Schumacher is second hit for a call is 0 for 2. A 2-run home run in his Cardinals 6 by Alan Craig. 20 home runs and 70 runs batted in. 20 and 70 for Craig in fewer than 330 at bats. Boy, that is getting it done. Okay, the numbers of Craig and Todd Frazier are quite similar in the number of at-bats. Only big disparity, the batting average. That one popped up, and that'll end the inning. But damage done by Craig. 5-0 Cardinals after 5.5. Mark your calendars for the next 4 for $48 ticket offer. That'll be September 7th, 8th, and 9th here at the ballpark. So for $48, you get 4 view level tickets and 4 Reds hats. All that for $48. That'll be the Reds and the Astros September 7, 8, and 9. 381 Reds, or visit Reds.com for details. Take a look at our AT&T trivia question today. 73 years ago, Mercy, the Reds played the very first televised Major League Baseball game. Who was the opponent? History indeed. I think now virtually no matter where you live, you'll have a quote-unquote hometown team, meaning your region if your city doesn't have one, or in some cases not even your state. But where you live will fall under the territory of a major league club, as Hannigan lofts one into right to begin the bottom of the 6th. A base hit. First Reds hit since the 2nd inning by Jay Bruce, their 3rd in the game. You can virtually watch at least some team play on television every night in this day and age. And to think it was 73 years ago, the very first game ever was put on television and the Reds were in it. Who did they play? Wilson Valdez bats for Homer Bailey. Disappointing outing by Bailey. 6 innings, 5 earned runs. So leadoff man avoid. Reds down 5 here in the bottom of the 6th. 0-1 to Valdez, and a breaking ball sweeps away from him. Let's see here with the bottom part of the order and rolling over to Cozart next. If the Reds can start making a little noise, get back in this thing, including this inning, they have 4 more cracks at them. And the Reds have been one of the great come from behind teams, late inning teams in all the Major League Baseball this year. 2-2 on Wilson. And now the pitch. And it's into right field, a base hit. So singles by Hannigan and Valdez to start this Cincinnati 6th inning.
Well, he keeps true to his sequence, which is late in the at-bat. Wainwright's going with a breaking ball. This one was a slider, and he hangs it right up there above the knees for Wilson Valdez. Lines it into right field. Good swing by Valdez right there. Well, you pop one out of here now, it's a whole different ballgame.
2 on, nobody out. Kozar, who has really struggled with runners in scoring position. That's the only knock you could have about Kozar in what otherwise has just been an outstanding freshman campaign in the major leagues. A ball and a strike. Caught the outside corner to get ahead at 1-2. There's one. They call it an out at second base. Oh, crowd not sure about that call by Jordan Baker.
Schumacher makes a nice play right here because that feed by Rafael Furcal was way off line. He's got to go way off the bag backhanded. You see where he pulled his foot there, but it was after he had already caught the ball. So a lot of the fans here at the ballpark are watching it live. Looks like he pulled his foot before he got the ball.
Ball one away to Heisey, who is 0 for 2, is rolled out to second and popped up to second. One and one. Banged into left field. A base hit to knock in a run by Heisey. So a 5-1 game and still 2 on with 1 out in the heart of the order coming up. Heisey is 24th run batted in.
Now Heisey makes a nice adjustment in this at bat because he gets 2 curveballs in a row from Wainwright. The previous pitch was a curve and he kind of buckled at it, but this time maybe he was looking for it. And even though it had good downward break, he's able to center the barrel of the bat on it and drive it hard into left field.
Brandon Phillips had a 12-pitch at bat his last time up, so he's seen everything Wainwright has to offer. It ended on a fly ball to center field after Phillips singled down the right field line with 2 outs in the first inning. Was thrown out by Carlos Beltran trying to stretch it into a double. A ball and a strike on Brandon Phillips. Phillips 3 hits yesterday, including a home run. Reds had 2 hits through the front 5 innings. They have 3 hits here in the 6th. Trying to get closer, down by 4. 1-1 to Brandon on the way. Beat him with a fastball. One and 2 on Phillips. Trouble here. There's one. And again, the Cardinals' inability to turn a double play.
For Cal, both times couldn't get the ball out of his glove right there, but also a good hard slide by Chris Heisey. He makes trouble for Cal right here because he tries to do a little whip leg slide right there on Cal, and Cal's going to try to get way out of the way to clear him of that. And you see that extra step right there, that slide by Heisey turned that into a fielder's choice instead of a double play ball. Good job by Heisey there.
Well, now Ludwig, who struck out and flied out to the warning track in left field. Ludwig with 25 home runs this year. He has 2 on, 1 in, and 2 out. Ball 1. Ludwig. They have a left-hander, Mark Zepchinski, getting loose in their bullpen to the Cardinals. And now the right-hander, Fernando Salas. And Mike Matheny decided not to bring in the left-hander Zepchinski yesterday in the 7th inning, after the Reds had gone up 5-1. Jay Bruce coming up to the plate with a couple on and 2 out in the inning. He stayed with the rookie right-hander Brandon Dixon, and the Reds wound up scoring 3 more runs in that inning. Bruce wound up drawing the walk from Dixon, and that game really got away from Matheny and the Cardinals yesterday. Three 3-0 on Ludwig. If he likes it, he's hacking. Throws him a 3-0 breaking ball, and Wainwright thinking the same thing. I just threw the fastball in there. It's a 1-run game. Potentially a very big pitch in his ball game coming up right here. Ludwig capable, more than capable, of clearing him with one big crack of the bat. Wow, look at that.
Well, I mean, he's thrown that curveball nearly as much as he has thrown his fastball this afternoon, and he's got great control of it. If you're Ryan Ludwig, you've got to be thinking fastball because, quite frankly, hitters don't practice hitting curveballs. 99% of batting practice consists of hitting fastballs.
3-0 goes to 3-2.
I'd imagine he's going to see another one right here.
Ludwig taking a lot of time before getting back in that batter's box. Three and 2 the count. Wainwright to the plate. And it's a base hit into right center field. Scoring from third, Cozart. Phillips on to third, and all of a sudden it's a 3-run ball game with Jay Bruce coming up.
Well, a good job by Ryan Ludwig right there, working the count full. Got a 3-1 curveball, gets a 3-2 fastball. And he's able to take it and line it right into right center field. His teammates have seen him, or his former teammates, the Cardinals, have seen him do that an awful lot over the years, and that's a big hit right there. Continues the inning, sends Reds to first and third. Mike Matheny probably going to make a pitching change.
I mean, this was cruise control here for Adam Wainwright. Had allowed 2 base hits, and they came in each of the first 2 innings. But the Reds have put together good at-bats. They have 4 hits, a couple of runs to knock him out of the game here in the 6th. Their only left-hander in the bullpen, Zepchinski, coming on to face Jay Bruce, our skyline call to the bullpen.
A couple of missed opportunity double plays. The Cardinals coming back to haunt them.
Ohio brought to you by JTM Food Group, creating great dishes together with the food service industry for over 30 years. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers, visit buyatoyota.com, including mobile, and by AT&T. The nation's largest 4G network, AT&T, rethink possible. Is it possible Jay Bruce could tie this baby up with one big swing of the bat against this new Cardinal pitcher, Mark Zepchinski? He hit a home run off left-hander Jaime Garcia in the 6th inning yesterday.
Yeah, that was a little slider or slurve that didn't slurve very much, and he left it right out over the plate. So Jay Bruce obviously capable of taking a left-hander deep. Zepchinski has given up a couple of home runs to lefties so far this year. They faced each other 7 times. Bruce 2 for 7.
Ball 1.
Probably going to be his only hitter. You see from those numbers right there, 58 games, only 40 innings. It's a definition of a situational lefty.
Runners on the corners, 2 outs in the inning. Reds down 5-2. Ooh, that just missed. 2-0 to Bruce. Todd Frazier waits on deck, but right now all eyes on this matchup of Bruce against Zepchinski. 2-0 delivery. Sweeping away from Bruce, 3-0. In there, strike 3-1. Hit hard, but right at the left fielder Holiday, and that'll end the inning. Reds get 2. They're down by 3.
Fair shopping spree from the Reds and Furniture Fair. So visit the registration table located right outside the section 120 inside the ballpark here before September 27th for an entry form. No purchase is necessary. Postcard entries are also accepted.
All right, so the Reds will go to their bullpen after batting for Homer Bailey. They're down 5-2. 3 more innings to go here at Great American Ballpark. Sean Marshall threw 1 pitch to get the only batter he faced in a ball game here yesterday, on for the 58th time this season.
78 ball games last year for Marshall. That, of course, when he was with the Cubs, threw 75 innings out of the bullpen. And that's really what he'll give you just about every year. If you look up and down his career stats, 75 innings, 85 innings. Of course, when he was with the Cubs early in his career, he was a starter. He had started as many as 24 games his rookie year. Last 3 seasons exclusively out of the pen, and he's looking for a quick 1-2-3-7.
Shane Robinson will pinch hit for Zepchinski, so he retires. The only batter he faces, Jay Bruce, ending the bottom of the 6th inning. By the mound, Phillips is there, throws, and he beat it out. What an effort by Phillips. Robinson runs well.
I mean, look where Brandon Phillips ends up. He's over by third base by the time he stops his momentum, gets that ball on the shortstop side of second base, throws off balance, and right on the money it is. What an amazing player.
Somebody said to me yesterday, I don't remember who it was, but somebody said to me yesterday that, you know, I wonder if Brandon Phillips is going to go win the Gold Glove this year at second base. And I said, what? So do you think that Brandon Phillips is going to win the Gold Glove award because all the sabermetrics crowd out there is starting to really push Darwin Barney?
Give me a break.
And I'm like, Darwin Barney's a fine player.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a really good defensive player.
He is. His fielding percentage is very high. I think he's gone over 100 games without making an error. So he's putting the leather on the baseball, no doubt about it.
There's no doubt about it. But I mean, with all due respect to Darwin Barney or anybody else in the National League right now, there is no way that any second baseman in the National League is the equivalent of Brandon Phillips on defense. And I don't know who the sabermetrics crowd is. I mean, you and I have talked about this a lot, Chris. There are a lot of things about sabermetrics that have a place in this game. We both agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, we were talking about the very topic with Mike Matheny before the ball game yesterday, as there's a ground out by Jay for the first out of the inning. And, the one that he does not buy into at all, and he does believe, like you and I do, that there is a place for some of the numbers in there. But the one that he will absolutely unequivocally deny there's anything to it is the runners in scoring position number. He said there are just guys that get it done and there are other guys that don't get it done, and don't tell me about luck. He said because it seems to be the same handful of guys that do it for a long period of time, and the name he brought up out of the blue was Edgar Renteria, teammate of Matheny's for many years.
That guy can flat out hit
with runners on base and runners in scoring position every year. Even the years with the Reds, he did not hit well at the end. But I don't know, Darwin Barney, I mean, almost fell over. Have you heard anybody else bring up Darwin Barney winning the Gold Glove Award, or am I just out of touch?
Well, you're in touch with different people than me, because I have not heard that. Maybe you're hanging around with that Red Reporter crowd again.
No, don't get me started there. 0-1 the count on Matt Carpenter. It's outside. I apparently said something that really angered some of those folks, so I'm not going to get into that anymore. They're really mad.
Well, calling them those folks might be part of it.
It is what it is.
Well, Barney's a nice player, but he can't hold Brandon Phillips' glove.
1-1 the count. Marshall against Carpenter. And a bouncer foul.
Well, ask the Cubs. Who would you rather have playing second base? Ask anybody who would you rather have playing second base.
We'll see our old buddy Bob Brenly again here sometime soon. Reds and Cubs will play once again. And, the disadvantage all of us have, Chris, is when somebody from another team asks about one of your players, we have the advantage of being able to tell them stuff we see day in and day out. We do not see Darwin Barney day in and day out. They do. So it wouldn't surprise me if they said, you know what, I think you ought to get some votes for it. One and two to count. Struck him out. So 2 away in the inning. So now it will be the lefty Marshall against right-handed batting Matt Holliday with a runner at second and 2 out. You have a right-handed batter on deck.
Not very often you see Marshall go to the fastball to get a strikeout. He's usually a guy that drops that sweeping breaking ball on left-handed hitters, but he went right up the ladder to Carpenter there. He's got a very more than adequate fastball. I mean, he throws about 92, sometimes 93 miles an hour.
A very important out here for Marshall and the Reds. Holliday's had a good day. 2 hits and 3 at bats. Knocked in 2 runs with a single back in the 3rd inning, had a triple, and scored on the home run by Craig in the 6th inning.
Now, this is one guy that Sean Marshall, if he gets behind him in the count, you wonder if he's just going to lay one in there, because they faced each other before and there's not a lot of secrets. And quite frankly, Holliday's had the best of them.
You saw those numbers. Holliday's had the best of a lot of left-handers, and he has again. RBI double by Holiday. And the lead is back to 4.
Well, they came into this at bat 4 for 9 against Sean Marshall, has Matt Holliday, and he is now batting at even 500 after that double. I really believe that's one of those situations, Tom, where you're facing a guy and the guy really knows your stuff and he sees the ball well and you've got a base open. And Alan Craig is 0 for 5 for him, but he's still a very good hitter and he can break out of that at any time. But if you have a guy that has a history, you got to be careful where you miss. You know, you may want to pitch to him, but you want to make sure if you're going to throw your breaking ball or your fastball that you're going to miss off the plate and not down the center. It's a big run because it's a momentum run.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're talking about letting Holiday and Craig, a couple of right-handed batters that have just killed left-handed pitching. I don't mean they've had a little bit of success. Showed you Holiday coming in batting .331 against left-handers. Craig is batting .380 against left-handers. Reds had to get 2 1/3 innings out of their bullpen yesterday, but Marshall only threw 1 pitch. Broxton really looked good last night, yesterday afternoon. And J.J. Hoover struck out the side in the 9th inning. And there's another hit and another run. Again, no surprise. Holiday and Craig have worn out left-handed pitching, and they have both just worn out Sean Marshall. And all of a sudden, what was a 5-2 game is a 5-run lead again.
Well, Craig sees that side of the infield wide open right there with Brandon Phillips snugging him up the middle right there. And he takes advantage of it. Boy, you work and sweat to get 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th. You think you're tightening the ball game up, and all of a sudden they come right back at you.
Now Beltran 0 for 3 in the game. See his career numbers against Sean Marshall. We talk about momentum disappearing right now. Reds had gotten the 2 runs in the 6th. 3 more at bats against Cardinal pitching to go. And that 3-run lead becomes a 5-run St. Louis lead on 2 out hits by Holiday and Craig. Hooked into left field, a base hit by Beltran. So the inning will continue for Yadier Molina. Well, now the Reds have a right-hander getting loose in the bullpen after we have just seen 3 consecutive right-handed batters come to the plate. And another coming up here in Yadier Molina.
Dusty's going to make the move. He's standing right at the bottom of the steps, ready to come up as soon as Ryan Hannigan is trying to buy Sam McCure a little bit more time. Wonder if it might be too little too late at this point.
Xavier Paul will come on as part of a double switch. He's going to replace Ryan Ludwig, it looks like, out in left field. So we're back in a moment. Time to answer our AT&T trivia question. It was 73 years ago today. Major League Baseball was on television for the very first time. The Reds and the Brooklyn Dodgers. That was at Ebbets Field in Brooklyn, New York.
Broadcasters that day were Wade Hoyt and Red Thornburg.
Xavier Paul, we told you, takes over for Ryan Ludwig. He'll bat in the 9th spot in the batting order. And now on the pitch, right-hander Sam LeCure. He pitched 1 inning out of the Reds bullpen here on Friday night.
Well, double switching into the game means they'll probably stay in the game and pitch the 8th unless the Reds are really able to make a lot of noise offensively, maybe take the lead.
Sure, Dusty Baker, and we brought it up, will be asked after the game about the decision to leave Marshall in there. 5-2 ball game. He had a runner at second base with 2 outs in the inning. After Marshall had retired, the left-handed batters John Jay and Matt Carpenter. Red skipper electing to stay with Marshall, and he was burned and burned badly. RBI double by Holiday, RBI single by Craig, single by Beltran. And now a right-hander comes into the game with 2 outs and 2 runs in. Pitch in the dirt, and it's 1-2 on Yadier Molina. Greg out at second base. Carlos Beltran on at first. And a 1-2 to Molina with 2 outs in the inning, and chopped foul again. You can clearly see Molina is not playing at 100% right now. Mike Matheny saying before the ball game yesterday that Molina's the kind of guy that you almost have to fight to get him out of the lineup on a daily basis. Wanted to be in there yesterday. Matheny told him not a chance. And Hannigan taking a beating back there behind the plate. A couple of breaking balls in the dirt that got him pretty good. I would imagine, you know, we talked about Joey Votto coming back on this road trip. I would imagine we might see the arrival as we turn the calendar to September. It's fouled away, and the bat goes flying into the Cardinal dugout. Hope everybody's all right down there. To say, Chris, I'd imagine we're going to see probably some minor league players brought up and the rosters expand. I don't think it's going to be all that many this year, though. No, you know, when your ball club's playing championship caliber baseball, those are the years that you don't use to just take a look at a whole bunch of young players. High fly ball into left center field. There'll be room out there for Heisey, and that's out. 2 big runs for the Cardinals. Lead goes from 3 back up to 5. Keep it right here on this Sunday afternoon for the singing of God Bless America at Great American Ballpark. So sit back, or, you know, better yet, stand up and sing along God Bless America.
And the Reds salute the men and women of our armed forces, as well as those who serve to protect in our local police and fire departments. At this time, please help us honor these brave men and women and all our veterans of service, and welcome Reds clubhouse assistant Josh Stewart as he leads us in the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Well, after every Reds game, Fox Sports Ohio will break it down. Reds Live brought to you by Kings Honda, the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. Chris Welsh will be a big part of the postgame program later today. And also later today, Fox Sports Ohio. Join Tom Brokaw for Boys in the Hall. Today it's all about Baltimore Orioles third baseman Hall of Famer Brooks Robinson, presented by Subway Restaurants, where winners eat. Going on and fouled, back out of play. Edward Mujica came over at the trade deadline from the Marlins, and boy, what a pickup he's turned out to be. He's not allowed to run. And we talked about it on Friday night. The 6th and the 7th innings have been the killer innings in many, many games this year for this Cardinal team. Trying to bridge that gap to their 8th and 9th inning pitchers, Boggs and Mott, the closer. And all of a sudden, Mujica has really quieted that whole thing down, at least for the time being. But Mike Matheny said he has been surprised a little bit about Mujica. You know, the Cardinals and the Marlins share the same complex down in Jupiter, Florida, and they play seemingly every day, said Matheny, during the spring. And he knew this guy was good, but he didn't realize he was this good.
Well, he was originally property of the Cleveland Indians. In fact, he pitched parts of 2 or 3 seasons with the Indians before they essentially gave up on him and traded him to the Padres for future considerations. That's when he really began to get his act together and control the strike zone a little bit more. Pitching a few years in San Diego and then moving over to Florida in 2011.
We had 2 to Frazier, and a foul ball back out of play. And again, in this ballpark, you just never know. I mean, a moment ago, or a few moments ago, we were talking about a 3-run lead with 3 more at bats to go. But after giving up a pair in the top of the inning, it's 5 runs again, but still 3 shots at him. This will be the first out here in the 7th inning. Folks enjoying a nice day out on the river. Got their Reds logo there on the boat. We were talking about it on Friday night. There are a lot of boats that are starting to drop anchor along the Ohio side, more on the Commonwealth side, in preparation for the big fireworks a week from tonight. And that ball will bounce up against the wall, and it's a double for Scott Rowland.
He drives this a long way. That's a breaking ball, too. He's got to supply a lot of his own power. I thought with the way that the right fielder, Carlos Beltran, reacted to this, he thought that ball was going into the seats.
For Rowland, that is a 515th double of his major league career. He has just moved past Edgar Martinez. Tied now with Hall of Famer Joe Cronin for 45th all time. He is only 5 doubles behind Derek Jeter. I am stunned by that.
I am too.
Jeter with 520 and now Rowland 515. Well, what a career he has had. and still have it. Deep in the hole for a call. Will throw. Route number 2, and Roland stays put. Xavier Paul came on as part of that double switch a moment ago, so he'll bat with a runner at second and 2 out here in the Reds' 7th. This guy's been a really nice pickup for the Reds so far, Xavier Paul.
He's given the Reds a lot of really good at-bats. Has a nice short swing, good approach to the ball. He can run a little bit too, and we have not really seen a whole lot of that, although he had that essentially game-winning triple that he hit last week.
A tapper down to first, and that will end the Reds' 7th. We move to the 8th. Cardinals in front 7-2. Comes from Philadelphia. Take a look at this catch by Jason Worth out in right field. Why'd they give you a glove? Or maybe not.
Well, you see, he called the ball by reaching out with his right hand. I'm not sure he was calling the ball. He was saying, hey, watch me. I'm going to catch this barehanded. Last guy to do that was Kevin Mitchell, as far as I can remember.
Mm-hmm. Nationals and the Phillies wrapping up that series, and the Phillies going for a 3-game sweep. Nationals have lost 3 in a row overall, and it's also gone along with Atlanta slumping. The Braves rallying to win against the Giants yesterday, but they had lost 4 out of 5 to begin a lengthy road trip.
Well, the Phillies still 9.5 games back in the wild card. They seem like a ball club that is a whole lot better than what their record shows this year.
Well, you know, early in the year they played, nearly the entire first half of the season without Ryan Howard, without Chase Utley. They had Halladay on the DL, Lee on the DL. Hamill's the only guy that has stayed healthy in that rotation.
Yeah.
So, you know, now they have all those guys back. And while they've traded away some big pieces of that team in Victorino and Hunter Pence, they're facing that kind of pitching. You're going to be a pretty formidable team to beat. Reds have 3 more games against the Phillies on their next homestand.
Yeah, in fact, they're the first 3 games after the Reds come back a week from today from Houston. They play the Phillies actually a day game on Labor Day, a night game on Tuesday, and a businessman special on Wednesday. So if you haven't been out to the ballpark yet to watch this Reds ball club, that might be a pretty good series to mark your calendar right now and come on out and see them.
That'll be the last real quote-unquote homestand of the year. I mean, it's not the final homestand, but the last one with any sort of length to it. They'll come back, play the Phillies for 3. They'll play Houston for 3, and then play the Pirates for 3, concluding on September the 12th. After that, the Reds will only have 6 home games remaining. 3 against the Dodgers over the weekend of the 21st, followed by an off day, and then the final 3 home games of the year, September 25th, 26th, and 27th against Milwaukee. One away here in the Cardinals' 8th inning after the strikeout of Schumacher, and for a call, looks at a breaking ball, strike 1. Base hit by Furcal, his first hit today in 4 at-bats. August is National Sandwich Month, so why not celebrate it with JTM's quick and delicious meatball sub kits? Pick up a bag today, JTM. Daniel Descalso coming on the bat for Mujica, who allows 1 hit in 1 inning and no runs. Off the end of the bat, out towards Jay Bruce and right, and that's easy for out number 2. John Jay batting for the 5th time. Singled and scored back in the 3-run 3rd inning. Homer Bailey giving up 3 runs in that 3rd inning, and then a 2-run home run to Alan Craig in his final inning of work. 6 innings, 5 earned runs for Homer. Sean Marshall, 2/3, allowed 2 runs, and now LeCure. Few shot foul, 1-1 on Jay. Reds and the Cardinals will not see one another again until the final 3 days of the regular season in St. Louis. Reds still have, what, 6 games left against the Pirates. 3 here, 3 there on that final road trip. We've got the Astros, still 1 more series to go. We talked about Philly. 3 more with the Cubbies. Have not seen the Miami Marlins in a long, long time.
Opening series. You making that trip down to Miami to see the
no,
brand new stadium?
That will be a weekend series. I'm sorry, I'm going to miss it. Really wanted to see that place.
Yeah. I'll take a couple of pictures and send them back to you.
Please do.
Yeah. They'll be asking for you out in the Clevelander Club, I'm sure.
What is that?
It's a nightclub they have. It's a nightclub that they have in out beyond the left field fence.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of people, I'm sure, asking where I am out there. And you'll be breaking out one of your very, very handsome new sport coats down in Miami.
I will indeed.
Fitting with that Art Deco sort of style down there. Swing and a miss, and it'll end the inning.
You're going to want to see that. Takes it to a whole new level.
Do your bosses know about it?
Not yet.
Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the nation again in the U.S. News and World Report's 2012 Best Children's Hospitals. And by the dependable, long-lasting Chevy Silverado and your Tri-State Chevy dealers. Take a look at this. This is what we were talking about earlier. A week from today will be the Cincinnati Bell WEBN fireworks, and you've got all these boats and people coming in. I'm sure a lot of them work, in and around downtown, and probably got a car down there they've already parked somewhere, but bringing the boat down to have primo spot for the fireworks, and that's why they're all getting lined up. Now, there are some, of course, just recreational boaters and water enthusiasts having a little fun. That lady out on the old jet ski, but there'll be well over 1 million people down here next weekend on both sides of the river. One of the great fireworks shows in all of America. In fact, you could probably make an argument it might be the single best when you consider the company that makes the fireworks for a lot of shows all over the world. Rossi is based right here in Cincinnati. Mitchell Boggs has been Mike Matheny's 8th inning man all year, and he's been a good one. He's on with a 5-run lead. Straight up in the air off the bat of Zach Cozart. Be a hitless day for Zach. 1 out. I beg your pardon, Descalso came in and part of the switch. The Schumacher coming out. Perhaps the next time we see Joey Votto in a Reds uniform, he'll be out on the field in the lineup. Told you be going to Dayton to play on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Well, got to be a thrill for those young kids finishing up their season up at Dayton right now to have Joey Votto join the ball club for a couple of days.
Been a rough year up there in Dayton, although the great fans they have there. I mean, you know, you can make a case that they're the best fans in professional sports. Some might say, give me a break. Well, they sold out more games than any franchise in the history of professional sports consecutively. Broke that record 2 years ago, and they just keep going strong every night. Foul ball by Heisey. Delino DeShields a manager there for that Dayton Dragons team this year.
Funky hop on him, and you can see as he just kind of scoops his glove up. I think he's a little surprised to have that ball in his glove and under control. He was caught in no man's land. You not so sure that he could back up and make that play. Ball could have bounced over his head. He tried to get it on the short hop, just didn't get there quickly enough. He's been a good player for a long time.
Two down, 1-0 on Brandon Phillips. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. Cardinals on a very important and rather lengthy road trip. They'll get out of Cincinnati starting this trip here. They'll go to Pittsburgh, play tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday there. And then it's on to face the Washington Nationals in a 4-game series in D.C., a team the Cardinals have not played so far this year. And Mike Matheny really challenged his team before they left after finishing off Houston in a sweep on Thursday. About how important this trip is. And everybody better bring their A game and ready to play. And right now, Chris Welsh, they are 6 outs away, or making now 4 outs away from winning 2 out of 3 here in Cincinnati to start it.
Well, that ball game yesterday that the Reds eventually won and blew them out was a huge game for the Reds. A momentum killer. Certainly, if the Cardinals had come in here and swept the Reds, they'd be really feeling good about themselves. I'm sure that they would feel good if they just held on and won 2 out of 3, considering that the Reds have the best home record in all of Major League Baseball.
We go to the ninth. Cardinals lead 7-2. Our Nissan drive of the game. It was a 2-run home run to take it from 3-0 to 5-0 off the bat of Alan Craig against Homer Bailey in the 6th inning. Our Nissan drive of the game.
Well, 56 games now this year for Jose Arredondo. He was in 53 ball games last year, missed 2010 entirely. That was the transition year between the Angels and the Reds after he had his elbow surgically repaired, Tommy John surgery, sat out that 2010 season. That's when the Reds guy grabbed him and rehabbed him, and he's been in the bullpen ever since. Averaging just a little over a strikeout per inning.
It seems like ever since Jonathan Broxton came over right there at the trade deadline, and Arredondo obviously and Logan Andrusik not nearly as busy as they were before that deal.
Of course, Andrusik right now back in Louisville along with
Kevin Mesoraco,
who played in there in his first ball
senior
game.
moment.
It was a senior moment. I was thinking pitching, then I thought I'd throw in Mesoraco too. I just read before the ball game how he had played in his first game down there in Louisville.
I bring that up because I seem to have a few of those lately too, where all of a sudden I'm like, I saw it in your eyes. I did.
Well,
we go blank sometimes, right?
Yeah, we do. We certainly do.
By the way, Devin Mesoraco and Logan Andrusik both appeared in Louisville's 5-1 loss at Toledo last night. Mesoraco went 1 out of 3, had a double, also had a walk. Andrusik an inning and 2/3, but he threw 37 pitches, walked 2 batters, allowed 2 hits and a run. So he has now made 2 outings for Louisville since going down there on August the 21st. Into right center field. That is 15 hits today for the Cardinals against Reds pitching. And sliding in safely with a double, his 3rd hit today, is Matt Carpenter.
Well, David Freese not able to play because he got hit on the wrist the other night with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. And his replacement in the lineup has done pretty well.
Swing and a miss. He's had a big day today. Holiday 3 hits. Struck out his first time up at Cincinnati. A bases loaded 2-run single and a 3-run third. Tripled and scored on the home run by Alan Craig in the 6th. And then with 2 outs knocked in a run with a double into left center and later scored in the 2-run 7th.
He's a home run ball away from that statistical anomaly. You know what I mean. Anomaly. That was not a senior moment. That was just a tongue tie. The statistical anomaly known as the cycle. Next time I'm just going to let that go, not even bring it up.
I thought you were on quite a roll there to begin that sentence. So you want to say that again? He is what?
Home run away from the cycle.
Very nice. 1-2 to count on Matt Holliday. And Arredondo to the plate, and it misses high at even a count. Tomorrow night, we'll be in Arizona. Opener of 3 with the Diamondbacks. Trevor Cahill has had a very nice year, a right-hander for the D-backs. He'll be on the mound against Bronson Arroyo, who right now probably you'd have to say is the hottest Reds pitcher in their starting rotation. I mean, yeah, Johnny Cueto's 16-6. And up until the start the other night, Matt Latos had the second best ERA in all of Major League Baseball. But as far as going out pitching well and winning games, Arroyo's on quite a run right now. And I understand the Diamondbacks, after that trade they made, have juggled their rotation, so Cahill is actually going to start their game today. That one over the mound into the center field, a base hit that'll bring in another run. Well, the Cardinals have come in here on Friday and again on Sunday, and they have just kicked around Cincinnati pitching. Got 8 runs in a series opener. Held in check to a pair yesterday, and now 8 more in the series finale. One and one on Alan Craig. If the regular season were to come to an end today, we've still got a little more than a month left to go. In the National League, you'd have the Nationals, the Reds, and the Giants as the 3 division champions. And again, as of today, the wild card would be Atlanta and the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals are a half game better than the Dodgers going into play today. The Pirates have slipped to 3.5 back. And that one is off the glove of Kozai. So the Pirates, I was incorrect there. They're only a game back. But, you know, again, for those of you that are not familiar with the new system in Major League Baseball this year, Chris, what that would mean is right now the Nationals have the best record. They would be the #1 seed. The Reds would be the #2 seed. But you would have the Cardinals and the Braves play a 1-game playoff. And based on that current scenario, the Reds would play the San Francisco Giants in the opening round of the playoffs. And the winner of the Cardinal-Atlanta 1-game playoff would take on the Washington Nationals. I think everybody agrees this advent of a second wild card is a great idea. You have so many teams that are still in the hunt, especially over in the American League. Mercy, you've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams within less than 4 games. And obviously very tight in the National League. But where I think everybody agrees baseball made a terrible mistake, and it's really hard to believe that a lot of very savvy baseball people would get together in a room and come up with the idea that the higher seeded team would have to go on the road and play the first 2 games of a series away from their ballpark after earning the right to have one of the best 2 records in the league. It's sort of hard to understand. There's a pop up in the left, and there have been some baseball people that have come out quite honestly and quite frankly and said, you know what, we made a mistake, we're going to readdress this thing. For me, I can't understand why in the world that's something you can't change right now.
I agree with that.
You know, everybody makes a big deal about, well, the travel's going to be tough. Look, the travel is brutal during the regular season. I mean, what the Reds had happen to them the other night with Philadelphia scheduling a night game when the Phillies were staying at home on Thursday to play Friday, and the Reds not getting back until 4:30 in the morning. I mean, that probably happens to an average major league team, you know, 2-3 times a month. So to all of a sudden, you know, use travel as an excuse for the playoffs and being able to compete in the postseason, to me seems a little silly. You agree?
Well, I think one of the goals was to try to eliminate the off days as much as possible. What I don't understand, though, is if you take a look at the wild card standings right now, how are the Atlanta Braves and the St. Louis Cardinals even tied? The Atlanta Braves have a record of 72 wins and 55 losses.
No. They're not tied. They're just putting a dash next to both of them, saying they're both in right now as a wild card.
I got you.
That's what it means.
That's what that means.
And they're saying that the Dodgers would then be a half game back. The Pirates would be 1 game back of the second team.
Of the second team.
Yeah.
Now I understand how to read that.
But I mean, you're talking about, you use the Giants as an example, and really this is true for every team in Major League Baseball. But you know, you look at the St. Louis Cardinals this year. If they were to win a 1-game playoff with the Atlanta Braves, and now the Washington Nationals, who have earned the right to be the best team, the #1 seed in the entire National League during the playoffs, they would have to go play a Cardinal team that right now is 14 games over 500 at home. And they are 2 games under 500 on the road. Fly ball center field. 2 outs in the inning. Look at the Red situation. The Giants have always been a great home team since they moved into AT&T Park.
All right, so how would you fix it?
I'm not so sure that I would allow the visiting team, the wild card team, or the other team to qualify for a playoff. You know, I might do it at 2-1-2. I might only give them 1 home game. I mean, if there is ever a more grueling regular season in any sport than Major League Baseball, where you go out and earn, in my opinion, home field advantage, no more so than a game of baseball.
Well, every one of the teams that are in the top 5 in the wild card of the National League have all very good home records. And some struggle on the road, like the Cardinals. Cardinals are 2 games under 500 on the road. The Pirates are under 500 on the road. So you make a good point about home field advantage. I presume when the 2 wild card teams match up for that 1-game play-in, that would be played at the site of the wild card team with the best record.
You know what? That I don't know. That is a very good question. I assume that would be determined by a coin flip, but I think that would be the fair and equitable way to do it.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Everybody loves a Game 7. Essentially start the postseason off with a Game 7.
Right.
With the 2 wild card teams playing.
And that is very exciting.
Oh, absolutely. When loser goes home, that's compelling baseball.
1 run in the Cardinal 9th. Reds will bat in the bottom of the 9th, trailing 8-2. By Miller Lite. These two teams started that series after the All-Star break, you may remember. Reds won a series opener Friday night, and then this on Saturday. A game-ending home run by Ryan Ludwig. Reds wound up sweeping the Cardinals 3 in a row, but the Cardinals have come to town here, and they have really put it to the Reds in this series. Winning Friday night, Reds got them last night. Now the Cardinals with an 8-2 lead, heading into the bottom of the ninth inning on this Sunday afternoon. Miguel Cairo going to come up at bat for the pitcher Arredondo against a new Cardinal right-hander, Fernando Salas.
Third year in the Cardinals organization. In fact, third year in the major leagues overall. All of them with the Cardinals. Mexican-born right-hander, 6'2", 200 pounds. He had 24 saves last year.
We are really hoping that what they saw out of Salas the other night, when he was so impressive here on Friday, is a precursor of what might be to come here over the final month and a half of the year. Win an inning, struck out the side. Cairo, a fly ball that'll back up Jay, out number 1 in the ninth. Jay Bruce now the batter, 1 out of 3 in the game. Had a single in the second inning, struck out in the 5th, and then hit that ball right on the nose with 2 on and 2 out in the 2-run 6th inning. But unfortunately, a line drive right at the Cardinal left fielder Matt Holliday. Philadelphia has finished off Washington again, handing the Nationals their 4th loss in a row. Cliff Lee picking up the win, and the Phillies have now won 4 in a row. There's a whole lot of dislike between the Nationals and the Phillies to begin with. And Philly taking it to them over the weekend. You know, we're talking about the National League postseason, and over in the American League, you've got the Yankees, you've got the White Sox, and you've got the Rangers. All leaders in the East, the Central, and the West. Bruce pops it up in the foul ground, and it's out of play. Tampa Bay has 1 wild card spot right now, but boy, it is tenuous at best because it's only a half game better than both Baltimore and the Oakland Athletics. The A's have gone into Tampa, won the first 2 games of that series, and they were postponed today because of the threat of the hurricane in and around the Tampa St. Petersburg area. Pulled to the right side, and that is out number 2. And I beg your pardon, I was incorrect when I said the Tampa Bay Oakland game was postponed today. I'm not thinking they never scheduled a game there today, but of course it's a start of the Republican National Convention that begins in that area, in the same venue where the Rays call their home field. So the Reds are down to their final out. And Frazier down a strike. Cardinals will pull within 6 of the Reds in the National League Central. Last time we saw that Arizona team, that was a series shortly after Joey Votto had gone down. And everybody wondered, in fact, it was the first game after Joey Votto went down, and everybody wondered, of course, at the time, would the Reds be able to play .500 ball without him? The very first game out of the gate, Arizona came in here and just blew the doors off the Reds in the very first inning of that series, and you thought, oh my goodness. Reds won the second game, Arizona won the third game, and then it came down to the fourth game of that series. Tapper down to third, and this ought to do it. Frazier thrown out, and that is out, so the Cardinals win at 8-2 to finish the thought. The start of the 10-game winning streak began when they rallied from 6-0 down to beat the Diamondbacks 7-6. So the Reds have their hands full to start the next road trip in Phoenix tomorrow night. We'll have that series for you right here on Fox Sports Ohio. 8-2 the final. Post-game show around the corner. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio.